Welcome back. In this video, we will run through the basic tags and elements in HTML. Let's get straight back into VS Code to where we left off in the last video. And I'll also open the page up in Live Server too so we can see where we're at and follow our changes. First thing I will introduce is lists. We'll also quickly go over comments and some text types. Finally, we'll look at divs and some of the other block elements. Comments are for your eyes only, or for anyone else looking at the code on your page. But the browser ignores them. They have no impact on the finished look of your page, but do come in handy when you go back to your code. Sometimes comments just help you make sense of what you've done. Comments are started with the less than symbol, an exclamation mark followed by 2 dashes, and they end with 2 dashes, and greater than symbol. Use comments to help you remember what each section of code is doing. Here, I'm just writing a comment to say, this is where I am going to put my lists. The first list we will use is an unordered list. This is just a list using bullet points. We create this with the UL tags. Inside these tags we place list items or LI tags. You can add as many as you want. I'll just add 2 for now. The other type of list is an ordered list. This is created with the OL tags. This list will number each list item. You can use numbers or change it to A, B, C, etc. Again, inside the OL tags we place LI tags for our list items. We mentioned briefly in a previous video about tags having attributes. Let's apply an attribute to OutUL tag. We are going to use some styling to change the circular bullet points to squares. Later, all styling will be done in a separate CSS file. But for now, we'll just type style equals and a pair of double quotation marks. Inside the quotation marks, we'll type list style type : You'll see that VS Code gives a drop-down menu. This shows a list of suitable inputs. We want the value to be square. And there it is, we have changed the bullet points from dots to squares. Now let's apply something similar to our ordered list. Instead of using numbers, I'll change it to use lowercase letters, A and B. It is the same list style type we just did, but now we want the value to be lower alpha. And that is everything we are going to cover related to lists for now. There is a lot more we can do with lists, like using them to create our menu buttons. That is something we will look at in the next video. So I'll just throw in a H2 tag here and tidy up a little bit. And I like to keep everything correctly indented. It seems trivial at this stage, but when you have a much longer page with a lot more divs and elements, it really pays to be able to easily identify what elements are nested inside another element. So I need to ensure the UL tags and the OL tags are lined up with all the other tags. These are all one tab forward because they are nested inside the body element. The LI tags will be a further tab inward because they are nested inside the UL and OL tags, which are nested inside the body. Almost all of your styling will be done in CSS, but there are a few ways you can style your text in HTML5. We'll start by adding a P tag. This is a paragraph tag and is self-explanatory. It lets the browser know this is one paragraph of text. We'll add a second p tag and you'll see it creates some white space separating the two paragraphs. Also, because I want a longer paragraph of sample text, and I don't want to sit here and type a whole paragraph, I will just type lorem and hit tab. I'm just going to turn on word wrap from the View menu to stop the text scrolling of the screen. Lorem produces a bunch of nonsense text called lorem ipsum. It is handy for placing large chunks of text while you work on your layout before you have the actual content for your page. So I'll add another p tag, and this time I'll place two paragraphs of lorem ipsum text inside them. I will space them out to separate the two paragraphs. But the problem is, even though I've spaced them out, the browser still just shows one long paragraph. That is because when the browser reads the HTML, it will ignore any additional white space you put in. So I'll add in a BR tag, or break tag. This will move the text to a new line. But we are still not getting the space between paragraphs. We can get extra space by adding additional BR tags. We can make text bolder by using the strong tags. Place the opening and closing tags around whatever text you want to make bold. We also have the emphasize tags or EM tags. These display your text in italics. You might remember the old B tags and I tags if you've done HTML in the past. But the strong and EM tags are more descriptive and should be used instead. So we've got paragraphs and bold text and emphasized text. But remember what I said earlier about the browser ignoring anything more than one space. What if we could find a way around that? Well, we can. Welcome in, the pre-tag. Whatever text goes inside these pre-tags will be displayed, with all the white space intact. I'm going to copy and paste a chunk of text in to show this. Here we have a bunch of paragraphs. While it doesn't look like it's formatted exactly the same, that is because in VS Code we have word wrap on. In VS Code, what we actually have is 5 long lines of text, with the first line being indented and a space between each line. And that is what we are seeing in the browser. And we didn't have to use any BR tags to get the extra space. Let's reduce the length of these lines so we can get a better comparison. And now you can start to see that whatever we do to the text inside of the pre-tags is reflected in the browser. We can even tab a whole chunk of text in and it will tab in the browser. I'm going to leave it there for text styles for now. I want to cover one final aspect of HTML before we move on to creating our first colourful and nicely laid out page. So an HR tag to end that section, and let's move on to some block elements. We start with the most common, the div element. The div should be seen as a container to put in a bunch of other elements like headings and paragraphs and images. Having everything in one div element means you can add a style to the div and it will apply to everything inside the div. Divs have been around since the birth of HTML. You can have one div inside another div. Divs can be given classes and IDs for styling, or given custom padding and margins. But HTML5 introduced some more descriptive tags, so while a div can be seen as just a box to put other elements in, we now have tags that work exactly the same as the div tag, except these more descriptive tags give the browser an idea of what that div contains. The first of these is the header tag. This will tell the browser this is the heading, so it will likely contain the page title and menu. We also have the main tag. This is where all the main content of your page will be displayed. The benefit of using a main tag over a div is SEO, Search Engine Optimization. The search engine will know what is the main content of your page and grab a snippet from there for its search results. And the footer tag. You guessed it, this will go at the bottom of the page and show all the uninteresting stuff. Terms of use links, copyright, privacy policy. A whole bunch of stuff we don't have to worry about just yet. Inside the main tag, we can also add sections. These can be used to separate the main content into topics. There are also aside tags and article tags that we will use later. We don't want to try and incorporate every tag just for the sake of it. Finally, we are nearly finished with this page. We will now add an image. I will just use that same image we used for our icon earlier. So for this we have the image tag or IMG tag. Once you type IMG and press Tab, it will automatically add two attributes. The source attribute, which is the file path to the image you want to use. For me, I want the file path to be the images folder I created previously and the logo inside it. And you'll see we have the image, but it is huge. I'm going to add some alt text, just logo will do. This is used by screen readers. Now I need to add another attribute, width. I can do this and give it a width of 100. That is a little better. At least we can see the full image now, but maybe 200 will be better. This is 200 pixels, and we don't need to add a height as it will scale proportionally without it. Then, possibly the most important tag in HTML, the anchor tag. The A tag is what we use to link pages together. You place the text in between the A tags that will act as the link. You can even place a tags around an image to make the whole image a link. The href is the web address. Let's link to Google. And the link doesn't work. That's because we need the full address. So if we copy and paste the full address, including the HTTPS, then everything works. And that is everything we are going to cover in this video. These really are the absolute basics, so make sure you understand the role of the head section and meta tags and the body section, links, inserting images, and the use of headings and paragraphs. In the next video, we are going to start a new project and introduce CSS, so we can really start creating something that looks awesome. Goodbye for now, and please, if you want to follow along with bigger and better projects, hit subscribe.